Hello and
No.
welcome to the Women's Cave. I'm gonna take it from Winona because she was just over here
It was
eating cheeses.
delicious.
She was
Oh my
just
God.
shoving cheeses out. Like, oh, this is all good.
So, like,
I love
I'm
cheeses.
just gonna say, if you
Really, Winona, and you just knocked down my stuff. Thank you, Winona. Thank
stuffed and disappeared from the set. There it goes again.
Winona.
Hold on.
I
You
blame
good?
you.
You good?
Really, it's not me. It wasn't me.
I started
I'm
it, but it's her fault.
Wow.
Wow. And I'm
Does the
Winona.
narcissism?
Does the narcissism no end? It does. It does. It has very firm boundaries.
I think I feel a migraine. I'm Jatha. And
I'm Winona. So I'm gonna just tell you guys real quickly. My narcissism has boundaries. It's about, my boundaries go as far as a tsunami down to the borders of a lake. There you go.
Wow, so never ending. So fabulous. I guess no one needed to know that about you. And we wrote literary life guides with poetry, which we call what we call books, or anthologies. But
no,
really,
please don't say the word anthology. That makes them boring. We're kind of boringly cool. Anyway, moving on. What did we write, Jade? The titles?
The top four. And I thought divorce was better with other life lessons. And I thought being good it was easy. If only I were me. And I thought I did my journey alone. You can check out all of that and everything that your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com. You will not raise your hand. We're getting to our wonderful guest. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, there we go.
Hey, how's it going, y'all? I'm Michael. Glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. You told me that I need to give one to three things about me, huh? Right here. One to three things. I'll give you my full name first off. My mom blessed me with a very powerful and strong name. It's Micheal Angelo Larson. And I was blessed to have a good family that gave me that last name of Larson. It wasn't Larson all the time, but that's what it says on my birth certificate now, thanks to being adopted by my dad. So that was real cool. What it means actually, Michael is obviously the archangel, in the Holy Bible, in Christian lore, and Angelo means an angel, and Larson means crown of laurels, triumphant. So basically, my full name means triumphant angel of God. So I've been trying to work my life to own up to that name, to live up to that name. It was a great name that my mom and my dad had given me, and it's something that I'm really trying to live up to. I am Christian, so we'll stay on that first fact of my full name. I am Christian, and that's something I'm trying to live to. My second fact about myself is I do have a radio show, a podcast, a sports podcast called Larson Live. And I've dived into other things, other topics, politics. I started this last year during the Black Lives Matter movement and civil unrest, and been trying to educate myself in that a lot. I have gifts, I have talents that I haven't been using for most of my life, and I've had a strong passion for sports, and as I read more books, as I read more history, I seem to find myself more inclined to learn about other things. As I take my education more seriously, I've taken a political science class, and taken a sociology class, and logic as well, learning how to argue, learning how to think logically, which is one of my weaknesses. I started out as a C student in logic actually this year, and now I've worked myself up to a high B. So we'll see how much more logical I can get. But like I said, rambling on a little bit, I have a sports podcast called Larson Live on NBS and Nothing But Truth. You can find it on Facebook. And like I said, as I grow more, I'll be talking about more things other than just sports. I don't plan on being a sports broadcaster for all my life anymore. It's something that I wanted to through when I was a kid. But as I grow, I realize I don't want to be just an entertainer. I want to have a little bit more influence than that, other than just the entertainment business. Third fact, I can't really think of one. Those are the two things that are really going through my
Wow,
through my head
and
right
what
now.
great things
Yeah.
they are, right? I was like, wow, that's a lot. And now you took away some of my questions, and I actually wrote them down. So I'm gonna ask them. Anyway,
That's no problem. We can elaborate on everything. We can elaborate on everything. I have
With the
plenty of
name,
time.
your parents were like, no, he's going to have high goals.
yes.
Aiming for the moon. Good night.
That's exactly right. That's
Wow.
exactly
Yeah.
right. No.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I was going right for my question, right? Because I wrote it down. So
I'm not gonna lie. You're gonna have a more boring interview than normal.
Right.
We have questions.
I wrote it down.
I've never been interviewed, so this will be the most entertaining interview I've ever had.
Okay, so
only interviews I have are job interviews, and those are awful. So this will be good.
They're very awkward as you stare at each other like, please, I need this job, I need this job, I need this job. And then the person's looking like, I don't know if you have this job.
I'm not going to be here for 10 years.
Right, pretty much. Okay, so the question was, you actually changed your brand because you were Micheal Angelo and now you're Lost in Life. How did you know it was time to change your brand?
Well, actually, Larson Live came first. I've actually changed to Micheal Angelo recently.
Sorry, I guess I got. Well, see, now this is why I shouldn't write down questions.
Nah, that's good because then now you get to know a little bit more about my journey. I started out with Larson Live. Actually, it was the sports perspective with Larson back when I was at UNLV, around 2015 to 2017. I stopped doing that for a couple of years. I was a very immature stage, more immature than I am now. And now it's become Larson Live. And just recently I changed all my social media to Micheal Angelo because I realized that I've neglected that middle name, something that my mom gave me and blessed me with. And why haven't I not used that? I want to be known as Micheal Angelo Larson when I get older. I guess when I get older and gain more influence, I want to be known as Micheal Angelo Larson. I want people to know my middle name that my mom gave me, instead of just Micheal Larson. Not that Micheal Larson isn't a strong name on its own and a beautiful name, but Micheal Angelo Larson definitely is something that I want to use a lot more. So changing the brand actually went from Micheal Larson to Micheal Angelo Larson, and that's what I've strive to live up to.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, so as you gain more influence, I noticed that you said that you were going to go from sports broadcasting more towards being an activist. Is this because of the number of people that now listen to you? Do you feel a responsibility to do this? And man, I feel like this is
Nobody listens to me.
Say that.
I get like 3 live listeners a day. No, I don't have a very big following yet. That has nothing to do with it. It's just as I get more educated, I realize what's important and what's not. I realize that knowing what a cover 2 defense and how many seconds a quarterback has to stay in the pocket until he has to throw a ball, and how many sacks a defensive end has really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Who cares? There's a lot more things that are hurting the world, whether it's the environment, whether it's money, whether it's human rights in general, violence. Those matter probably a lot more than watching football on TV. And it's not like I can't continue to enjoy football, but it should be more of a hobby than I feel like it should be more of a hobby, and I think it's meant for me to be more of a hobby than my work, than my lifestyle. I just and when I watch the news, when I watch sports news and stuff, I'm just looking at that. I'm all like, I don't want to be that guy. I just don't want to be. I could probably be better than that guy, but at the same time, I don't want to do that every day. I don't want to have to look up stats every day and come up with a new topic about this, about this quarterback or a prediction for him or something like that. It's just not important to me as much anymore, which is really weird to say, but I've been struggling with it over the last few months, honestly. Just taking my education seriously. That's the number one goal, though, is to that's my number one goal right now. It's not activism. It's not current events. It's not sports. It's just improving my brain. That's it. I just want to strengthen these brain cells first, and then I can figure out what I really want, what I really like.
So it seems like we've been taking this time in the pandemic and lockdown and all these things to really do some self-reflection, right?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I was like, wait, let me ask that
put
question.
something on the end, a question mark. Were you looking for a question?
Yeah, I was. I was like, wait, that's not a comma. That's actually a sentence.
Yeah.
The COVID has been a blessing, as well as, it's been a blessing for me a lot, honestly. It's stopped time for me a little bit with basketball. I guess that could have been my third fact. I have a basketball scholarship in Canada.
That is an amazing fact. I love that fact.
Wait, you're in Canada?
Yeah, I go to school in Canada, Concordia University, in Edmonton. Yeah.
Like I'm a little
okay.
I'm technically an international student. Yeah.
It's not fair because like they have less COVID cases in the United States, so you get to live more of your life.
I mean, it definitely it started to rise up a bit more, and actually it wasn't very it wasn't the city wasn't very active at all. The gyms were closed, everything was closed still over there, and it's probably getting even more like that with the cases rising up. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best experience. I was locked in my home. Just like here, I was locked in home all day, every day, and I couldn't find work either. That was the other thing. Their economy is like I couldn't find jobs at all that I needed. Every Starbucks that I applied to didn't take me. I applied to a couple banks. I applied to restaurants too. Restaurants definitely weren't hiring. Edmonton was an experience. I'll be going back next year. That's the plan.
Nice. So, how do you survive winter?
Wait, that question. And then how did you survive doing that interview process again and again, and kind of like that rejection? It's kind of hard.
Didn't even get interviewed. Wasn't even getting interviewed. I put my application. They either weren't hiring or I went up to for the restaurants. Starbucks was a little bit less important. I went to one Starbucks and gave them my cover letter and resume. They told me to apply to whichever ones I wanted to. They were hiring, and then I didn't get accepted. I don't know, unless my cover letter or my resume probably didn't have the right words for their system or something. But going up to restaurants, every single one of them said, yeah, we would hire, we would take you on for an interview, but we can't. We're not making money, basically, is what they said. Because that's what I usually do. I just go up and I give them my cover letter, resume, introduce myself, shake their hand, all that kind of stuff. That's the way to get a job, but it just wasn't working. Definitely wasn't working. Same thing with the banks too. It just I couldn't find any part-time work for a student. I probably would have ended up doing going to a grocery store. That would have been the last resort there. That had to be something. They had to be hiring. I mean, Smith is Save-On is always hiring, so that might have worked. As for the winter, you have no idea how happy I am to be back in Vegas. It's like 70. It's 70 now. It's awesome. It's beautiful here. But in Canada, you just wear layers. You just wear layers and layers. I wear, wear 2 pairs of shorts, 2 pairs of sweatpants, a jacket, and a coat type thing with the beanie on. Then I stay nice and warm. What somebody just told me last weekend. You can always take layers off. You can always take clothes off, but if you don't have the clothes on you can't put them on.
I remember that one time we finally got an interview in Canada.
And it was
so
November.
Excited, and it was in November. But where we live, it was like maybe 42 as the high.
I mean, it was like between like 60 and 42, right? So we
were fluctuating up and down. Oh, we're from Maryland.
So
Maryland, okay.
Yeah,
it doesn't get cold over there. I know it's East Coast.
Well, today it's 73, so it's. But I mean, we've had some cold weather, but it's not as cold when you get to Canada. Okay. I had to buy another sweater. I was like, my coat is not heavy enough for being here in Toronto.
Honestly, we were like, all we're gonna do is land, get in a car, go to the hotel, and then stay in the hotel until it's time to get back in the car. We did not have enough clothes for that. It was so
where in Canada?
We were in Toronto.
We were just
Toronto. It was
Toronto.
Yeah. It was
Toronto,
so
yeah. I think that's probably like the second coldest area is the East Coast. I know West Side is obviously less cold, but up north is where I was, Alberta. That's the coldest section, and then once you get up to East Coast, it's pretty cold up there too.
I'm sorry, you said you went to Alberta?
I'm sorry, it's so cold.
Yeah, I was in Alberta. Yeah,
Edmonton. Popsicle. They make human popsicles.
No, I was actually in Fort McMurray. It's it was like the most up north city, one of the most up north cities you can get in Canada. It was ice cold there for sure. I had to walk back and forth from work. Oh, it was awful. It was awful. It was awful.
When you're talking, like, you making me want to just send you some gloves. Like, man, you gonna need these. You need these gloves,
the big ones where you're like your hand is down somewhere.
Oh, I learned quickly. I need some mitts. I don't need some regular these thin gloves that you find in Vegas. You need mitts.
No, you need the serious with the hand warmers. With the hand, when you put them in your pocket, walk down the street with your hands in your pocket. Absolutely.
You need those gloves with the hand warmers and the mitts. Yeah, it was.
Yes, that's exactly what you need to survive. That's accountable. Okay, we digress, y'all.
We did. We went to the wrong place altogether.
So let's
tell us a bit about how you got started, how you ended up with the radio show.
Yeah.
I found them on Facebook. I just it was really random. I was in high school, senior year, around springtime, and I just saw them on Facebook, and I asked if I could come on their show. It was something that I was interested in. I came on their show. They really liked me, and I made guest appearances. Eventually became a full-time member on their panel show. And then eventually I was all like, I don't really like panels, so I'm going to make my own show, do my own show. And then I started doing my own show, and I did it at UNLV in the radio station, at the radio station. They had a channel. They have a student channel, and I did it on that. And I went live on Facebook, and I did really well. And then I wasn't doing the best. I just was at a very immature stage in my life. I love my parents, like I said, but they secluded me a little bit. I didn't go out very much when I was in high school. I didn't dive into things that I would have maybe at a younger stage than I would have with if they had been a little bit more lenient, I guess, a little bit less strict. So I dived into that stuff in college, in my early years of college, and I didn't do well with that. And so eventually I just kind of fell off for a year or two, and didn't do school for a bit. But the radio show was very fun. It was real. That's where I started, was that UNLV radio station. Very fond memories there.
It sounds like it. I love the smile that goes with it.
I know.
It's like very fun memories.
Yeah. I was with that smile. That smile. That seems like stories. Like you're
good stories.
Like you're about to tell some writers some stories, and then
then we're gonna write them down.
Yeah, pretty much,
and pretend that we lived them.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. We'll check out your show and find out more about you, social media, and all that.
Facebook watch, look up NBS Central, nothing but Sports Central, but NBS Central. Find that on Facebook. Spotify, same thing, NBS Central. Instagram, NBS Central. YouTube channel, NBS Central. Just look it up on there. That's where all of our shows are. It's not just my show. We got several shows. Let's Talk About It. Stardom Sit-em. It's a fantasy sports show. And a couple of the NBS show. We got a couple more, Megan Rights and Undisputed as well. Sorry, not Undisputed, Uncensored. We got several shows on there. Go to Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We're all on there. And that's where you can find our shows. I go live today in a few hours at 7:00 p.m. Pacific time. And looking forward to seeing anybody from here on there.
Nice.
Thank you so
much.
much.
That means I have to immediately post this. I was gonna wait for 2 weeks.
But now we're immediately
posting.
Okay.
All right, Jade, do we have to wrap us up?
Absolutely. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com. While you're there, take a moment and go on and spot the fun things that we are doing on the homepage, especially the Ladies Tale podcast, where professional actors and actresses read our script. I'm sorry, it's well-known as script. I'm sorry. It's read well-known. Okay, but more importantly than all of that, please take a moment, go down to in the ladies tab, go down in the middle and see the charities that we probably support. Maybe you could support them too. And if you can't just support them with time or money, maybe you could just support them with a kind word, because all of us need some encouragement. Wouldn't you agree? Well,
I do agree. I'm a narcissist and I still need encouragement.
She doesn't, but sure, we'll go with that. And just remember, y'all, that wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Will Nona
and Jade. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, thanks for listening.